with my dad, who is involved heavily in the textile industry. He left college, I went to technical college in Hinckley, and I was lucky enough, I don't know if you'd say lucky enough, but I was able to go with him sometimes to work. We used to go around visiting all the factories all the time, which would often involve cream cakes and various food sources, because we were the cute little kids that would come into the office and be able to kind of play on things while he went off and did his work and kind of spoke to people. But also we were surrounded by yarn cones all the time. Bits of fabric were everywhere in the office. And often, as a really nice treat, if we were good, he'd allow us to pull threads from every bit of fabric, and we'd have to count how many threads were in a piece of fabric for his work. And we'd get paid about, I think it was about £3 an hour for that if we were good. So yeah, that's what me and my sister used to do most of the time. But Hinckley is very much was an industrial town.
When I joined it was 1989. I was 16. So then it was still quite a thriving industry, and I do miss it. I don't miss the job itself, I miss the people I work with. Most of the people who was on the jobs themselves were female, but we used to have all the engineers to mend the machines. In reality, having that many women in a factory atmosphere, it can and could be, one, hilarious, because as you can imagine, some of the things that used to go on was quite entertaining. And if we got married, they would automatically get tissue paper that they used to put over the tights and make them a dress over the top of their outfits. They would put it all on them and everything, and then they would take them outside to over the road by the car park and tie them to the lamppost all day. But then we would also have massive collections, and like somebody was leaving to have a baby or getting married or whatever, the money that we all used to raise and the presents that we used to get was amazing, honestly phenomenal.
I remember a statement once that was given out. I can't remember which government it was at the time, but it was all to do with selling arms to overseas countries. And I think the comment was it takes a lot of knickers to pay for a fighter jet.
But as the years rolled on, you could see things changing. You could see the hosiery that was coming through not being as great as what it had been. It wasn't as top quality. They was getting stuff from abroad.
I think the industry could never return how it was. And there's many reasons for that. Political, consumerism.
But it's the decline, it's the lack of control by the various governments that we've had in restricting the importation of clothing that's caused the decline of the industry. You know, the fact that it's far more glamorous to fly off to Singapore than it is to go to Leicester or Bolton or Bradford to buy clothing. Hence the reason that they prefer to buy from overseas than UK.
I think as a country we are so used to going to places now and getting a top for £2 that we're not prepared to spend more money. To produce and manufacture in this country costs a lot more money, and that's largely down to workforce practices, it's down to materials, it's down to kind of the cost of living and everything around that, and we're just not prepared to pay it. So until we change our attitudes as consumers, there's no way those kind of industries will ever return in the magnitude that they did.
It was awful. The last sort of, I left in 2001. After I left there was about a year later, everybody got made redundant, and that's why I left, because I could see it coming. Basically, for the last 18 months that I was there, we got taken over. Atkins was sold, and it changed its name to Aspira. As soon as a business gets sold that's that big, that's that well established in a town for so long, it was years it was there for, we knew something was going on, and you could see the decline.
I would love to see it come back. but I don't think it will, because the infrastructure is no longer there. The labour is not there for the factories. It's much more lucrative to go and stack shelves at Tesco than to sit in the machine making jumpers all day long.
You're not going to go and choose an industry where am I going to work? There's no jobs out there, so it's never going to grow. So until we kind of look at what we can do well, and kind of bring those people back, the likes of my dad, the likes of Brian, they're going to go soon, and that knowledge is going to go with it.